Hi, Smart Parenting fam! Welcome to another episode of Ronna Asks. We're here with one of our Smart Parenting Board of Experts member, Teacher Thumby. Hi, Teacher Thumby.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So we're going to talk about something that is on the minds of a lot of parents, and this is bullying. And this is a fear that all parents have. And it's not necessarily something that only happens when you're in schools. My first question is, a lot of parents worry that their kids are being bullied, or maybe that their child could be bullying. But there's another space, I think, that we don't often talk about, and that is what happens if your child is a witness to bullying, or what can you teach your child to do or say if they notice that their friend or their classmate is being bullied.
Okay, super great question, because there is that gap, between the bullies and the victims, right? So there are so many witnesses, and a lot of the times they're not doing anything, and that's because they're afraid. They're afraid that they will become the targets of the bullies. So what we need to do is teach them how to talk to parents or other teachers and feel they have a space, a safe space where they can talk to adults who can do something about it. So it's really important for children to be able to find an adult in the school or at home that they can trust and they can talk to. So they're not going to approach guidance counselors or coaches or teachers if they don't feel like what they'll say is going to be kept in confidence. So we need to help our children build relationships with adults in school.
Is this something that they would have to discuss before it actually comes up? Like, I guess that's also something that we miss out as parents. We forget that we have to have the conversation before something horrific actually happens. Like, for example, do you sit down and say, if this happened to you, who would you talk to? Like, how would you do it?
I think the most important thing that Filipino families should remember is having dinner together. And that's just like a natural thing that happens every day, or every night. And through that, that experience of being with your family every day, children will open up. They will start talking about their days, what they saw. And that's like a great jumping point for parents. Like when children make kwento, or, this happened in school, or I saw this. And then they can talk about it and tell them, oh, how come you didn't do anything? Or how would you feel if that were you? Talking to them, asking them questions, and then giving them a little prompt, like maybe you can talk to the teacher, or did you see anyone tell the teacher? Sometimes they'll say things like, I'm afraid, or I'm scared. And then parents can give reassurances, or even say, if you want, I can talk to the teacher. Or I can go with you when you talk to the teacher. So things like that. Or right now it can be so that your child would be really anonymous. You can say, I'll email your teacher for you. So that way the child doesn't get into trouble, or doesn't feel like people are gonna find out that he was the snitch.
How about when it comes to online, or kids talking to each other on various apps? I think that's also a little bit harder to catch as a parent. I know a lot of us just want to get into their messaging apps and read everything, and that's a completely different topic altogether. But definitely online, maybe hate speech online, or being talking about violent things online. How can parents talk to their children if they also find out that they have classmates or friends who are being bullied by their other classmates or friends online or through apps?
Okay, one of the first things that comes to mind is being good role models, right? So how your children see parents interacting on social media is how they're also going to interact. So if they see parents like being very calm when they comment, or interacting with other people in very respectful ways, then when they go online, they'll most likely not be such keyboard warriors na, those people who like leave nasty messages on other people's profiles, right? But that's not always a guarantee. Another thing is, again, communicating with your children, having lots of conversations with them in natural settings, like spending time together in the malls, going together to church every Sunday, and then eating out. I guess really what you want to do is build relationships with your child so that they will talk to you and they will share things with you. For younger children, I really hesitate on giving them like accounts that have free reign. You know, it's really a matter of adults being responsible also for their children because they are still children and they still need rules, they still need guidance. And if scary things happen to them online, they need to know that somebody is going to, protect them. And that's where the parents come in. If we give them free reign when they're so young and they get away with doing things like bullying or witnessing bullying and not doing anything, then they're going to develop that and carry that on as they grow older.
I read somewhere that another great jumping point would be if you watched any media together and then there was like a bullying scenario or scene, that parents could use that as a lead to say, how do you think did that child feel?
Right.
Would that be a good way?
Yes, those are great jumping points. Books, videos, movies. So even if it's like reels sometimes,
Right.
because the attention span of kids are so much shorter now, it seems.
Yes.
But yes, anything that will open up a conversation and things where the parents can say, what would you have done if that were you? Or if reverse the situation, like would you ever be like a bully? Did you ever find yourself in a situation where you wanted to put somebody down? Or were you ever in a situation where people put you down, and how did that make you feel? And then were you ever in a situation where you watched somebody do that, and what should you do about it? If you didn't do anything about it, how did that make you feel? Because sometimes they do feel guilty for not speaking up. But again, it comes with a lot of fear also.
I love that what you're saying is you don't really have to create specific occasion to talk about it, or it doesn't have to be like a big moment, but really doing everyday life with your kids and including them in your routine. It's not another to-do list for us parents sometimes, because we feel like, oh, there's so many things I have to fix and I have to do, and then I have to talk about bullying ganyan. But what I'm getting from you, Teacher Thumby, is when you make sure that you have a good relationship with your kids, which is through having meals with them, all of the time that you spend together with them, you're able to create a good foundation of openness to talk with your kids. So would it be correct to say that this is not something that you have to talk about once and then it's done?
Exactly, because the more time you spend with your kids, the more they will get to learn family values, learn the values that you have, see things from your perspective. A lot of the times kids now, they're like, oh, that's so old school, right? The old school thinking. But if they understand you because you've had a lot of conversations with them, and it's not like what you're saying, you don't have to pick like, oh, on Monday I'm going to talk to them about bullying. No, it comes from organic, conversations that you can address all sorts of things. And bullying will just be one of them. But they'll be able to learn from parents, how should I react? How do I protect myself? How do I keep myself from becoming one? And how do I help other people?
So what advice would you give parents who worry about their kids being bullied, whether online or maybe in the classrooms or in, spaces with other children?
I think being present for your children so that you spend a lot of time with them. Also notice what they're going through. So sometimes children who are being bullied, their behavior changes. They become withdrawn or they become depressed. So sometimes those are like signs that you have to look out for. And you won't be able to see that if you're not there for them. So a lot of the times, my advice to the parents would be present. When you're with your kids, I know this is hard to do, but you have to turn off your gadgets. You have to really listen to what they're saying, look at how they're behaving, how they react to certain situations. Because of the time that you spend with them, you'll be able to see if there's like something going on and help them. I mean, then they'll be more willing to talk to you about their problems or their fears or the things that they're going through. And then you'll be able to help them.
Thank you, Teacher Thumby. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Ronna Asks. Let us know if there's somebody you want us to talk to in the next episode. Bye, Smart. Thank you.